Welcome to this quest. At the Demon Lord's castle, night has fallen. Inside, Kratos is lying in bed, seemingly asleep. Quiet footsteps echo through the corridor as two figures approach. It's Sergei and Hardock. Seizing this moment of vulnerability, Hardock whispers that now is the perfect time to strike, planning to decapitate Kratos while he's defenseless. Sergei adds that once he's gone, she'll take down both Baal and Ashoret, leaving one of them to claim the throne as the new Demon Lord. Hardock agrees that until that moment comes, they're allies. They slowly open the door to Kratos' room and begin to creep toward him, preparing to attack. But just as they get close, they freeze in place. Kratos, eyes wide open and mouth agape, is staring directly at them. He's been waiting for them the whole time. Caught off guard, the two traitors fumble, trying to convince themselves that this is still their one and only chance. But before they can act, Baal and Ashoret enter the room and interrupt them, asking what the hell they think they're doing. They scold Sergei and Hardock for bothering Kratos while he's sleeping. Seeing Kratos' peaceful, almost childlike expression as he lies in bed, the two comment sarcastically that now they understand why he's called the Demon Lord. Baal warns them sternly not to wake him up unless they want to face his wrath. Still not backing down, Hardock turns to Ashoret, clearly confused by his loyalty. He questions why Ashoret is even taking Kratos' side anymore, considering all the Demon Lord wants to do now is farm. Ashoret replies calmly that he owes Kratos one life-saving debt, and he's just repaying it, nothing more. He makes it clear that once that's settled, he'll decide for himself whose side he's on. Hardock scoffs at this and reminds him how planting potatoes has already caused nothing but problems. In his view, the crops are doomed to fail, and they'll all eventually starve to death. Ashoret sighs and admits that, yeah, it's a tough life, but as he thinks of Flute, the little demon girl who's working so hard in the fields despite her tiny hands, his perspective shifts. He says if they're going to risk death, he'd rather do it in battle. That's the kind of fight he's used to. Unmoved, Hardock snaps that Baal and Ashoret are fools and that they'll regret following Kratos. Just then, Kratos yawns and begins to stir. Baal notes that it seems he's waking up. Kratos sits up and, seeing Ashoret standing awkwardly nearby, asks what he's doing in his bedroom. Ashoret tries to explain that he wasn't trying to take sides, he's just paying back his one debt. But Kratos isn't having it. He sarcastically wonders why his lightning rod is walking around and talking like that's normal. Without hesitation, he zaps Ashoret with lightning magic. Poor Ashoret is knocked down instantly for daring to save Kratos' life. As Baal drags the scorched Ashoret out of the room, Kratos announces that they can't waste any more time. Everyone needs to mobilize and continue clearing out the rubble outside. Baal, however, informs him that the rubble has already been taken care of. Zephyros has been overseeing it. Kratos is skeptical until he walks out and sees for himself. Zephyros is leading the crew, getting everything organized. Kratos asks where all the rubble was taken. Zephyros points, and Kratos follows his gaze. In the sky above, T-Bone is flying around, chomping down on the rocks mid-air. Apparently, T-Bone has been eating everything. Kratos is surprised, but T-Bone explains that the rocks were too small to act as wind barriers, so they decided to just eat them to grow stronger. T-Bone swoops down and affectionately rubs up against Kratos, who pets the dragon and calls him his sweet baby. Kratos reflects on how dangerous the razor winds can be, even if they don't appear often. Without weather forecasts, the only way to prevent disaster is for T-Bone to patrol the skies and use his freezing breath at the right moment to stop wind buildup. It's a lot of work, but necessary. The field is nearly ready. Now, it's time to handle the potatoes. Zephyros mentions that their food supplies are getting dangerously low and asks if they should try to get more. But Kratos brushes it off. In his eyes, the real threats to farming aren't war or famine, they're natural disasters and production costs. Those are the enemies they need to defeat. Back inside the castle, Sergei is in her room, visibly irritated. She removes her helmet and lets her hair fall loose, sighing in frustration. No matter how many days she stays away from the fields, she still smells like dirt and sweat. She mutters about how that stench just won't go away. Suddenly, there's a knock at her door. It's Kratos, asking if he can speak with her. She immediately tells him she has nothing to say and wants no part of whatever he's planning. Kratos insists, begging her to open the door, saying that misunderstandings happen when people avoid face-to-face conversations. Still, she refuses. Then, without warning, Kratos appears inside her room, completely naked, using his quantum leap technique. Sergi shrieks, demanding to know why he just teleported into her room with no clothes on. Kratos kneels before her, catching her completely off guard. He says that without her help, he's powerless. Blushing, she stares in disbelief. Kratos pleads, saying that if she agrees to help him, he'll do anything, even kneel and beg as much as she wants. He says he needs her for her skill, for her precise swordsmanship. Still flustered, she twirls a lock of her hair and gives in, saying she'll at least hear him out. As she agrees, Kratos mutters to himself, shocked that this actually worked. The next scene shows Sergi standing in front of a mountain of potatoes, looking angry and embarrassed. She's been duped into helping him cut the seed potatoes for planting. Furious, she mutters that she got played like a fool. Kratos instructs Sergi on how to properly prepare the seed potatoes, saying the task is simple. If a potato has 3 or fewer sprouts, it can be left whole. But if it has more than 4, it needs to be cut in half, and crucially, the sprouts should be divided as evenly as possible between the 2 halves. He tells her this confidently, tossing a potato toward her mid-explanation. She protests, saying she never agreed to do this, but as more potatoes fly her way, she instinctively draws her blades and begins slicing them mid-air. Much to Kratos' surprise, each cut she makes is absolutely perfect, just as he had described. He watches, awestruck, and exclaims that this is no joke, she's slicing with unbelievable precision. He knew it all along, she's the only one capable of this task. His words fluster her, and she blushes, claiming she won't fall for his sweet talking again. She accuses him of being a manipulator, a liar, and a fraud. But then Kratos abruptly rushes toward her, startling her as he grabs her arm. She demands to know what he's doing, only to realize he's gently wiping her blade with a cloth. He calmly explains that some potato juice got on her sword, and cleaning it off thoroughly is important, otherwise, disease could spread from one potato to another. She stares at him, confused and slightly mesmerized. Something about his expression, so warm, so earnest, makes her pause. He reiterates his plea, saying once more that she's the only one who can do this. Of course, he's only talking about cutting potatoes, but his sincerity makes her blush again. She grudgingly agrees to help, just this once, calling him a foolish demon lord. He promises to fetch more boiling water and cloths, determined that they'll spend the entire night cutting potatoes together. She calls him ridiculous, but returns to her task with silent enthusiasm. Up above, Hardock watches the scene unfold with disdain. As Sergi continues to slice potatoes, she snaps at Kratos to stop trying to hold her hand. He responds by softly humming a tune and, after each cut, lovingly wipes her blade clean. Hardock scoffs, muttering that she's just another weak-minded demon easily swayed by a few compliments. Her serious, commanding demeanor has melted, and now she looks like a love-struck fool. Meanwhile, Ashorit is still strapped to a cross and has entered a spiral of existential despair. He wonders aloud what life even means for someone like him, a living lightning rod. In his mind, a life filled with nothing but suffering has no value. Suddenly, Flute approaches him cheerfully with food in hand. She invites him to play their throwing game again. He snaps at her, calling her a brat and a low-class demon. He threatens to eat her if she comes any closer. Undeterred, she throws a bit of food that bounces off his chin. He growls that she's doing it wrong and warns her to get serious or he'll kill her. Watching this, Hardock mutters that Ashorit has completely lost it. He's no longer the fearsome demon he once was. Back in the field, Kratos calls out to the farmers, announcing that the seed potatoes have been cut and dried, and they're finally ready for planting. Hardock, still watching, remarks sarcastically that he never had high hopes for Baal. He was always dim-witted, and that none of these demons seem to have even average intelligence. As the farmers enthusiastically thank Sergi for cutting the potatoes, she barks at them to shut up, saying she didn't do it for their sake. Hardock shakes his head, saying that her soft, blushing face isn't worthy of a general. He's disgusted that these demons are crying over something as mundane as potatoes. Kratos continues giving instructions. Once the sprouts break through the soil, he tells them, they'll need to start thinning the buds. Baal eagerly volunteers, saying he's good at cutting too, but Kratos dismissively tells him to shut his mouth. Then he asks a question. Is it better for a potato to have more sprouts or fewer? One of the farmers confidently replies, more, but Kratos immediately says, wrong. Hardock scoffs again, wondering why they're even studying something so basic. The farmers are confused. How could fewer sprouts be better? Kratos explains that too many sprouts will compete with each other for nutrients, leading to smaller, weaker potatoes. At this, Hardock steps in and explains it further. The nutrients are divided among sprouts, and too many means none of them will thrive. Kratos, impressed, asks how Hardock knew this. Had he farmed before? Hardock dismisses the question, saying this is basic logic. He continues explaining. The ideal number of sprouts is 2. Any fewer and the potato risks dying if one sprout breaks. Any more and they'll compete for nutrients. After thinning the sprouts, the next step is to monitor the soil, which has been enriched with compost and carefully aerated. Unfortunately, such fertile soil will also attract weeds, which must be removed to prevent them from leaching nutrients. Kratos turns to the others and calls for applause, declaring Hardock a genius. The crowd cheers and starts chanting, "Genius," over and over. Hardock looks increasingly annoyed, but behind his grumbling exterior, something stirs. He remembers how his mother always called him stupid, and suddenly, tears start forming in his eyes. He turns his head away, wondering why he's crying. Kratos walks up and formally announces that Hardock will now be the leader of the Farmer Corps, calling him the wise and intelligent mind of demonkind. Hardock protests, saying it's absurd. He's a demon, meant to kill and conquer, not farm. Kratos ignores him and tells everyone to show respect to their new chief. The crowd erupts again in applause. At first, Hardock tries to resist, yelling at them to shut up and calling them idiots. But then, with the tiniest smile, he folds, admitting that if they follow his instructions properly, he'll lead them, just a little bit. The cheering intensifies. Suddenly, a message window appears in front of Kratos. You have achieved victory in 4 psychological battles. Confused, Kratos reads the breakdown. He won over Baal by understanding his neglected, attention-starved heart. He gave Ashoret, who had never known true friendship, a sense of companionship. He opened Sergi's heart, one that had never known love. He instilled confidence in Hardock, who had always craved recognition. Kratos is shocked. He had no idea any of this was happening. Kratos appears and mutters in disbelief that everyone around them has such fragile emotions. Kratos is awarded 200 happy points and is now eligible to unlock a new skill, Blood Sky. He's stunned by what it does. It allows him to see up to 6 hours into the future of anything he observes, whether it's a living being or even an object. But what shocks him most is that the skill can even be used on the sky. He grins and declares, he has weather forecast. Far from the kingdom's heart, nestled on the perilous border between human and demon lands, lies the village of the exiled. A lonely haven for outcasts, and today, a new arrival stirs its stillness. Lord Dwiro awakens fully healed, finally free of his lingering wounds. Lord Elbia, in his usual dramatic flair, thanks Dal and wishes for a sturdier body in his next life. As for Dao, ever the dreamer, he just wants to get rich and boss people around. But all eyes soon turn to the enigmatic Lord Aged Kimchi, and the question on everyone's lips, will he return to the kingdom? Kimchi hesitates. He doesn't remember his past. Never truly lived among humans. Even here, among the exiled, he was met with suspicion. Can someone with no roots ever find a place to belong? As Elbia gently suggests a change of clothes to help him feel more at ease, Kimchi silently struggles. His bizarre, heart-emblazoned outfit won't come off. It clings to him, like the trauma he can't shed. Suddenly, a flashback surges, a violent past, reawakened. The gentle exile unleashes a devastating strike, revealing the brutal warrior within. Can he ever be more than the blade he's carried for so long? Meanwhile, hope sprouts, literally. Seedling. On the Demon Lord's farm, a single green shoot bursts from the soil. Cheers erupt. Months of backbreaking work have finally borne fruit. Chief Cultivator Hardock explains the next crucial step. Earthing up, covering the sprouts to shield them from sunlight, or risk turning toxic. The Demon Lord, surprisingly earnest, manipulates the weather, tears streaming from strain, mistaken as joy. Even machines can't match the weight of his care. But peace is fragile. Urgency shatters the calm. A messenger from 2nd Star Master Planus arrives with dire news. 3rd Star Master Ruster has broken the ceasefire and launched a full-scale rebellion. If Planus and Ruster unite, even the Demon Lord may fall. Yet, he doesn't flinch. Why should the final boss dirty his hands? Instead, he dispatches Sir B and Baal, 2 of the 4 heavenly generals, leading a fearsome army via a newly opened shortcut to the Swamp of Decay. There, amid ash and fire, Planus, stoic and tree-like, defends his stronghold. He accuses Ruster of treason. Ruster counters. Without war, the demon race will wither. Enter Sir B. Enter Ball. Their arrival flips the tide. Sergi, ever conflicted, concedes, yes, demons are born to fight. But a child's voice echoes in her mind, a simple question. Why must we be defined by violence? Back at the farm, petals drift across flower-filled fields. A demon child races to her father, marveling at the beauty. The demon lord watches, quiet, smiling. But just as serenity blooms, his smile fades. With chilling resolve, he orders, destroy the flowers. Shock, grief, betrayal, even Hartok cackles, overseeing a crucified prisoner as farmers, helpless, pluck the very blossoms they nurtured. Was peace just another illusion? The flowers cried, yes, cried, as their petals were torn from the soil. Once a symbol of hope, they're now tragic casualties of the demon lord's cold logic. Farmers pleaded with Hardtalk, begging to spare the blooms they'd nurtured with care. But Hardtalk, ever the pragmatist, dismissed their grief. The flowers, he explained, were robbing the soil, stealing precious nutrients from the potatoes. And so, with heavy hearts, the farmers destroyed the field of dreams. One demon watched the massacre with a wicked grin. Beautiful, he whispered, the demon lord's chaos is absolute. Back at the castle, Ball and Sergi returned triumphant. The rebel, Ruster, defeated, bound, and broken, was dragged before the throne. The demon lord mocked him. Ruster, proud to the bitter end, demanded death. A demon who no longer fights has no worth. In response, the demon lord casually struck him with a blast of golden lightning. General, now revealed as Lord Ruster, barely flinched. But the demon lord smirked. He'd hidden a third-generation lightning rod on Ruster's body. The next strike ripped through him. Screaming, shaking, begging, you're past your prime, the demon lord said. Retirement suits you. As Ashurot collapsed, his friend Flute, yes, his friend, rushed to his side. But the reunion turned nightmarish. Red light flared in Ashurot's eyes. His body twisted, his mouth widened into a beastly grin. He lurched toward the little girl, ready to devour her. But stopped. One step was all he managed. His legs gave out. He fell. The balls tell him that infant regression had paralyzed him. Humiliated, Ashurot was bound in floral wrappings and dragged away like a sack of shame. The demon lord didn't blink. Just another problem, neutralized. Back on the farm, Sergi's blades slashed the last of the flowers. Hardtalk, now fully awakened, unleashed a magnificent water finisher to nourish the fields. But joy was short-lived. Rations were dwindling. Fatigue set in. Even demons were not immune to exhaustion. Then, a familiar figure approached. Plainus, not to fight, but to thank the demon lord. Stunned, the demon lord couldn't process it. Gratitude? Him? Then came the rage. He exploded. You show up empty-handed? Only later realizing he'd been influenced by modern gift-giving customs. Beneath the outburst, a strange truth surfaced. All he really wanted was to see his people eat. As the demon lord dismissed him, Plainus wandered the fields. He stepped onto the soil, and froze. It was rich, fertile, powerful, unlike the swamp of decay he once called home. Instinctively, his roots dug deep. The earth answered. Magic surged through him. Strength bloomed. A thought sprouted in his mind. With this land, I could become the next demon lord. The demon lord barked out an unexpected command. Morning exercises. In a surreal shift, the demon lord led synchronized drills. The farmers obeyed perfectly, rolling left, rolling right. From chaos to unity, they had transformed under his guidance. Panic struck. In turn, Ball reported to the demon lord on what happening to the potato field. All the potato leaves were turning yellow. The fields, sickly, fading. Was the harvest doomed? Donning his armor, the demon lord marched into the field, Hardtalk at his side. They knelt, examined the damage, then, with a single motion, the demon lord ripped a plant from the soil. Gasps, silence, ah, beneath the dying leaves, a massive cluster of radiant, fully grown potatoes. Not a failure, a sacrifice. The leaves had given everything to grow something greater beneath the surface. Larger, heavier, tastier than ever before, a miracle harvest. The fields once cloaked in doubt now bloomed with pride. The demon farmers, gruff, scarred, calloused, wept. Tears fell not from pain, but from joy. Their efforts had borne fruit. The demon lord's smirk, so often cold, now hinted at genuine pride. Even Hardtalk and Sir B, warriors by blood, shared a glance. Amazed, grateful, changed. That night, under moonlight, peace reigned. In his bed, the demon lord lay motionless. His mind drifted, first to a warm, innocent memory, a tomato plant, a gentle voice from his past. "You raised this one," it had said. Then, darkness, a scream. A vehicle came to took his grandmother away. Django, his face twisted in terror. A hospital bed where his loved one rest. Breath fading forever lost the person who take care him the most. His chest ached, but he dismissed the ache. Sentiment, he told himself, is weakness. He was a strategist, a ruler, nothing more, but one truth remained. Relying on potatoes alone was foolish. His mind flashed to history. The Irish potato famine, death born from monoculture, resolve ignited. They must diversify. New seeds, new crops, a new plan. But just as he reached think of a plan, an explosion was heard. His bed exploded, cracks tore through the castle as monstrous tree roots burst from beneath. The demon lord was thrown through the air, roaring, shrapnel and fury in equal measure. Then Flute managed to see what happened to the demon lord castle. The young demon girl clutched a dying leaf. Something was wrong. She remembered what the demon lord had said. The leaves wither when the potatoes mature. But this was unnatural. She ran to warn them. Deep below, the roots writhed. They rose, they claimed, and at the center, a titanic, bark-covered form emerged. Plainus, once ally, now horror. "You," the demon lord snarled. His eyes blazed red, voice trembling. "You, bastard," Plainus sneered, "you made me strong. You fed the land, I devoured it." But then the ground shook. The castle split, and Plainus, colossal and unrelenting, erupted into the sky, declaring the demon lord a mere insect beneath his roots. Plainus struck. A root arm slammed into Credos. The impact was devastating. Blood sprayed, bones cracked. A vampire general screamed, urging retreat. One loyal demon tried to help, but was dragged away. Our lord is not invincible. Plainus grew, skyscraping, tendrils engulfing the land. The horizon drowned in his silhouette. And Credos, broken, bleeding, plummeted into the abyss. 4 generals stood beneath the storm-racked sky, staring up at the monster. Plainus, Zephyros whispered, breathless. Above, the new demon king declared, "Credos is dead. I am the demon lord now." Ancient laws echoed. Power is truth. Power rules. The generals knelt, one by one. Even the armored titan Baal bowed his head. All but Zephyros. He stood in silence, unmoving in his belief, a lone pillar of silent defiance, until Plainus's aura, crushing, absolute, forced him to his knees. A single tear fell to Zephyros' eyes. A monument to defeat. Darkness emerged. Then, laughter came. A young Credos, once just a boy named Kim Jang-chil, counting aloud under a tree. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. "Mom, where are you?" he called. "Mom, come out." I counted. His voice, tiny and hopeful, echoed. Was this a memory? A dream? A goodbye forever without coming back? The demon lord lay still, buried, broken, breathless. But memory clung to Haim. A child's voice echoed in the void. I counted to 10. And then, despair. "Mom," the sound of a child's anguish pierced through the silence of time. Suddenly, his hand twitched. He moved. He remembered who he was. "I'm not dead," he whispered, pain burning with every breath. "I'm not done." And so, he dug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Above ground, the twisted tree tyrant Plainus stood tall. Roots coiled like snakes, its glowing eye fixated on Zephyros, now summoned. Plainus commanded a new invasion. "The humans shall be livestock." The long-haired general frowned. So did the vampire-like Ruster assurant. Even the armored general Baal paused, hunger and horror clashing. This path felt wrong. But Plainus cared not. Its roots reached out, whipping in anger, grabbing, devouring everything. Zephyros said the march was impossible. "We will lose all our provision." A child demon screamed as she was plucked from the crowd. A farming demon roared in grief. Plainus declared, "We have food. You." The demons themselves were the provisions. The child pleaded, invoked Credos' name, but Plainus only watched, cold, glowing, amused. Deep underground, Credos' hand glowed faintly. He felt their fear, their hunger, their betrayal. "No," he growled, "no more starving." Golden light pulsed from his battered body. Red eyes flared. "I won't let it end like this." fist clenched as his fiery heart blazed. He dug again. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Above, the child trembled in Planis's grip. Until someone acts as a shield. A Shurat, arms trembling in his hand. Defiant in his belief, protecting her. Planis roared. What, is this a Shurat? Are you insane? A Shurat answered only with silence. The child cried his name. Planis struck in anger. Crash. Assurant and Zephyros were flung like leaves in a storm. Pain echoed through the field. Planis bellowed. Prepare for war. But Zephyros rose, arms shielding the child. His voice cracked, but clear. There is no reason for war. A root shot toward him, but a blur intercepted it. T-Bone and red-haired Ball, wild-eyed, roared. Who'll count the potato harvest if he's dead? Planis faltered, furious. One by one, they rose. Hardik, bloodied, knelt. We seek reason, not rebellion. The armored General Ball stepped forward. Why destroy peace we've already built? The bearded General Hardik stood in silence, resolve written across his face. The four generals now stood side by side, battered in body and mind, united as one for belief. Behind them, the farmer demons rallied, fists clenched as their hearts synchronized, eyes burning for their past lord. Kratos is our true lord. Planis trembled, its eye blazing in anger. You dare resist? Tendrils erupted like spears, lashing through them, cracking the sky. A volley of death aimed at the traitors. The farmer demons stood defenseless. Planis roared, its crimson aura swelling. Tendrils whipped like whips of death. Ball lunged, axes blazing. For the fields, his blow cracked the tyrant's roots. By his side, the armored General Sergi danced like a whirlwind, slicing through vines. Blood splattered, resolve deepened. I'll tear out your damn eye. But it wasn't enough. Ball was struck, impaled, screaming. Planis laughed. A storm of tendrils surrounded them. Die, all of you. Its voice was hell incarnate. Planis mocked Kratos, called him weak, dead, forgotten for who he was. Then, the earth split. A fist, glowing gold, tore through the soil. Kratos had returned. System notification. Concentrated nutrition activated. Kratos roared, golden aura blinding. His punch shattered the battlefield. Planis reeled, disbelief in its glowing eye. Long ago, a young boy named Kim Jang-chil asked, why live, when it hurts so much? An old woman smiled, because we are seeds. Seeds grow as the face challenges. They push through dirt, despair, darkness. One sprout can turn the world green. Kratos didn't believe it then. Not until she lay dying. Not until her words echoed in his soul. We are all seeds, and now, he had sprouted. A new system emerged. Mana Seed, LV.3, boost. Plus 30% all stats. Core manifestation. Blue glowing seed formed. Concentrated nutrition. Activate 1x per day. Pour all stats into 1. Kratos roared, all into physical strength, physical stat, 155%. Speed, mana, defense, minimal. Power strength, godlike abilities. He erupted from the earth. Full of strength, vitality, godlike. His cape swept the dirt. His eyes burned red. Planis staggered, its eye widened. How? Kratos bleeding, laughed. Why are you asking when I am clearly here? The farmer demons cheered, their true lord had returned. T-Bone lunged in, tears in her eyes, rushed to Kratos. He held her close. Hardik gasped, half alive, can he really beat it? The generals, battered but hopeful, watched. Planis declared death, but Kratos only smiled. He saw it clearly. Planis moved like a game boss. Predictable. And he wasn't alone. Farmers, group up, initiate drills, jump left, jump right, get down, roll, keep rolling. The farmer corps moved like players in perfect sync. Taught by Kratos, hardened by drills, they dodged everything. Planis was confused. Its size, its power, all useless. Turn. Kratos called the next move. The farmer corps pivoted in sync, following Kratos' lead. His finger pointed. Now, taunt. Planis howled in berserk fury, its towering form writhing in a storm of raw chaos. The crimson aura that once radiated control now boiled with wild, aimless destruction. It thrashed, it pounded, the earth shattered beneath it. Kratos smiled. There it is, the berserk phase. T-Bone, go, he roared. The small blue dragon soared, puffing its chest. Adorable, deadly, gathering, cute. T-Bone exhaled. A cone of icy breath, razor-sharp frost, blasted forward. crackling, piercing. The frost struck Planus head on. The monster shuddered, its limbs stiffened, its bark groaned. Kratos' mind raced. Not even his maxed-out strength could flatten Planus. But cold was science. Even trees can split when the ice gets deep enough. The frost deepened. Cracks spider-webbed across Planus's hulking limbs. Its eye widened, shock, then fear. Now, T-Bone banked away, wings weak but proud. Planus staggered, cracking under its own weight. A high, sharp crack echoed like a prophecy. What? Planus gasped as its body began to implode. Kratos moved, his heart raced. The plan worked? He crouched, muscles charged. Golden aura blazing. Let me show you the real weakness of tree monsters. The berserk giant towered above, but in its core, a dark knothole, vulnerable, exposed. With a mighty roar, Kratos punched. His fist, gleaming, golden, drove deep into the hollow core. Boom! Planus shattered. Splinters rained like ash. Its twisted body collapsed, breaking apart from within. But Kratos frowned. Something was wrong. A chilling fragment remained. Planus's eye, glowing faintly in icy residue. Its roots twitched. This isn't how bosses die. The ground cracked again. From the frozen husk, a new form began to rise, taller, more monstrous. Planus reborn, its voice deeper, its body now humanoid, twisted with bark and black thorns. I am a cursed seed, and I will flood this world with poison. A ball axe wielding struck first. But Planus didn't even flinch. He was swatted away like a fly. A Sergi followed with a flurry of blades. But she was cut down by the monster's counterattack. One by one, they fell. Ashurat, heart thundering, charged. His blow landed. Planus flinched. For the first time, it felt pain. But it wasn't enough. Alone, exhausted, his allies broken around him, Ashurat faced the towering reborn monster, its form now a twisted god of thorns and poison. For the harvest, Ashurat whispered. He drew a hidden dagger. With a final roar, he leapt, dodged, struck. The blade cleaved Planus's head clean off. Silence. The body stood, glowing, then disintegrated, sparkling, gone. Planus was no more. The battlefield stilled. The ground shimmered faintly, serene, weightless. The corrupted tree, purged. Victory. The farmers cheered. The generals exhaled. The child dragon nuzzled Kratos' arm. The farmer core stood, bruised, battered, but alive. T-Bone curled around Kratos, protective and proud. The advisor approached, uneasy. Kratos, stop. Look at the fields. Kratos turned. Dead crops. Scorched land. Ashes where food once grew. Even a single leaf, lifeless, brown, broken. His heart sank. All this victory, but at what cost? He dropped to his knees. They'll starve again. He couldn't bear it. But then, a light, a glowing orb descended, gentle, silent. It hovered above a single dead leaf. And touched it. The leaf pulsed, green, alive. And that's how Kratos crushed the cursed seed, for now. But with the land in ruin and new threats sprouting from the shadows, can the demon lord truly protect his people? If you enjoyed the chaos, the comeback, and that frosty T-Bone clutch, don't forget to like, subscribe, and smash that bell for more epic manhwa recaps. And this has been LA. Catch you in the next one.